Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a shift in global conflict that is so massive, it's practically rendering multi-billion-dollar stealth jets obsolete. We are talking about the unstoppable rise of cheap, mass-produced drones. If you want to understand exactly how military dominance is being completely rewritten right before our eyes, well, you're in exactly the right place.
So it all brings us to this staggering question. How on earth does a $50,000 drone defeat a $3 million missile? Look, this brutal economic mismatch is the key to everything we're about to cover today. It's a disparity so profound that it's actively rewriting the rules of modern warfare. It's literally taking the advantage away from traditional, deeply funded militaries and just handing it right over to whoever can mass produce the fastest.
Let's look at the brutal math here, because it's pretty wild. On one side, you have the Iranian-designed Shahed 136 drone, which costs maybe $10,000 to $50,000 to build. On the other side, a Patriot interceptor missile that runs several million dollars per shot. The crazy part is, you don't even need the drone to actually hit its target to win the economic exchange, right? You just need the defender to shoot back. A cheap, disposable drone forces a defender to expend incredibly sophisticated, impossibly expensive assets.
That leads us into Section 1, the new economics of war. Okay, before we go any further, we kind of need to separate Hollywood from reality. What the media often calls a swarm is usually just a really large group of drones. But according to the US Government Accountability Office, a true drone swarm involves coordinated systems of drones that perform autonomous missions with minimal human oversight. They share data, they adjust formations, and they make AI-driven decisions on the fly. What we mostly see on the news today are massed, pre-programmed one-way salvos. True AI swarming is still maturing, but make no mistake, it's the inevitable next step of this technology.
Moving right along to Section 2, Origins of the Drone Threat.
The evolution here is just shockingly fast. In just 15 years, we went from Iran capturing a US stealth drone back in 2011 to the Saudi oil strikes in 2019, right up to the massive multi-theater retaliations of the 2026 Iran war. This technology went from a captured top-secret prototype to the absolute defining weapon of global conflict in the blink of an eye.
Take the Shahed 136. It is not a marvel of high-end engineering. And you know what? That is entirely the point. As our sources detail, it relies heavily on accessible, commercial-grade components. Honestly, you could probably find half of its parts in an RC hobby shop. It prioritizes simplicity and low cost over survivability. With a 50-kilogram warhead and a claimed range of 2,500 kilometers, it's designed purely for scale, not sophistication. It's basically the perfect weapon to overburden aerial defenses simply by showing up in overwhelming numbers.
Let's look at how this plays out in Section 3, Real-World Battlefield Case Studies.
So this was the absolute global wake-up call. In September 2019, drones and missiles hit the Saudi Aramco oil facilities at Abqaiq. The estimated cost of the weapons used? Roughly $15,000. The result? They completely thwarted billions of dollars in sophisticated Saudi air defense and temporarily knocked out 5.7 million barrels of oil production a day. Israeli air defense expert Uzi Rubin actually called it a kind of Pearl Harbor. It proved definitively, once and for all, that cheap, low-flying drones could effortlessly bypass legacy defenses.
When we compare recent conflicts side by side, a super clear pattern emerges. In Nagorno-Karabakh in 2020, drones easily exploited low-tech legacy defenses. In Ukraine, they heavily targeted the vulnerabilities of manned crews out on the front line. But the 2026 Iran war proved the ultimate vulnerability. Even with highly sophisticated top-tier THAAD and Patriot systems guarding the skies, the best defenses in the world will leak under a mass attack. Ultimately, the outcome depends entirely on defender preparedness relative to attacker mass.
8 million? That is Ukraine's absolutely incredible planned production capacity for tactical FPV drones per year by 2026. This is what military strategists are calling precision mass. We're talking about a state completely shifting its entire industrial base to pump out millions of cheap, human-piloted drones, literally turning them into the primary consumable munition of the front lines.
And the 2026 Iran war validated this mass attack theory on an absolutely unprecedented scale. According to our source material, this was the largest coordinated drone and missile retaliation in modern history. The strikes were multi-theater. Just to help you understand the sheer volume here, the UAE alone intercepted 2,256 drones and 537 missiles. Now, while interception rates were high, the conflict still forced the closure of the Strait of Hormuz and objectively proved that even highly effective top-tier defense networks suffer immense strain and leakage when facing a sustained bombardment.
Which brings us to Section 4, the counter-drone industry boom.
The financial fallout from all this is just staggering. The defensive counter-drone or CUAS market is experiencing explosive growth right now. It's jumping from roughly $6.6 billion in 2025 to over $20 billion by 2030. That is a compound annual growth rate of over 25%. Militaries around the globe are just frantically pouring capital into detection systems, directed energy weapons like lasers and high-powered microwaves, and low-cost kinetic interceptors. They are desperately trying to find a cheaper way to shoot these things out of the sky.
There's a strategic assessment that really hits the nail on the head here. It says, defeating a $500 drone with a $3 million missile works tactically but fails economically, a dynamic reshaping how defense strategists think about aerial threats. Think about it. If militaries just continue using the current interception model, the attacker won't just defeat the defender on the battlefield, they are going to literally bankrupt them.
Finally, Section 5, Future Outlook and Unresolved Risks. What we are witnessing right now is a major doctrinal shift, what analysts refer to as the attributability paradigm shift. Let's break it down. Step 1, discard decades of aerospace engineering that focused entirely on survivability. Step 2, maximize production scale using everyday commercial parts. And Step 3, treat these aircraft as entirely consumable munitions. Modern warfare now views these machines not as precious aircraft that need to be brought home, but as disposable bullets with wings. It changes the landscape of military engineering forever. Which leaves us with this final, truly profound thought. We started out today by clarifying that today's attacks are mostly pre-programmed salvos, not true AI swarms. But make no mistake, true autonomy is coming. So what happens to the rules of engagement when the human is entirely removed from the AI swarm? As strike capability becomes cheaper and completely decentralized, the threshold for using lethal force inevitably lowers. It's a daunting reality the world is barely prepared for, and for sure the most crucial takeaway from our explainer today. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.